This next Patreon question is from Lance, who wanted me to compare two cult films released in the same year. Which is better, Heavy Metal or Polyester? Both of these movies opened in 1981 and attempted to bring an out-there experience to audiences. Heavy Metal did it by adapting the pulp magazine of the same name as an animated anthology film, while Polyester utilized a new form of smell-o-vision. They're definitely not to everyone's taste, but I found things to appreciate in both films. As for which I prefer, I'm going to pick Heavy Metal. That movie tells a series of science fiction stories, all meant to emulate the style of underground comics of the period. This was a Canadian co-production, which employed a whole bunch of talented animators in order to bring the various futuristic and fantasy worlds to life. It really does have the feel of flipping through those comic books that were not ashamed of what was drawn within the pages. Of course, because of that, this is a movie that definitely panders to the mindset of 15-year-old boys. This is most evident in the Den segment, in which a young man is transported to a fantasy realm and given a new muscular body. He meets a scantily clad woman and, well, you can probably guess what happens. Thankfully, the other segments are better. There's one centered on a taxi driver as he attempts to survive in a future New York, and another one where World War II bombers come into contact with zombies. Probably the most famous segment is Tarna, centered on a warrior battling a tribe of mutants. Some of you may remember this segment being parodied in an episode of South Park. The animation in all of the segments is quite impressive, which is not surprising when you look at the talent involved. Some of the animators who contributed to Heavy Metal include Ed, Edd n Eddy creator Danny Antonucci, Cow and Chicken creator David Feiss, the Red Turtle director Michael de Dok-de-Witt, Peanuts animator Bill Littlejohn, and Borge, who directed the Oscar-winning short Anna Bella. Oh, and the soundtrack is also notable, and for many was the biggest selling point of the film. While there's certainly an immature element to the content in Heavy Metal, it's nonetheless an important film in the history of adult animation. Polyester cleverly plays with the conventions of the 50s melodrama and the pulp romance novel in the way only John Waters can. Admittedly, the only other movie of his I've seen is 1988's Hairspray, but Waters has such an unmistakable brand of humor that comes through even in his interviews. The bizarre comedy of Polyester does produce laughs, whether it's a teenager with a unique type of foot fetish, or the band of nuns we encounter. Waters also satirizes the media and makes biting use of news reports that appear throughout the film. I think another major reason Polyester works is due to the central performance from Divine. He makes put-upon housewife Francine Fishbaugh such a sympathetic character as we watch her deal with a cheating husband and her two terrible teenage offspring. Divine carries a lot of the film and delivers a performance that's at times comedic and at other points tragic. The main gimmick of Polyester was its use of scratch-and-sniff cards, called Odorama. Do you remember when Rugrats Go Wild used that same gimmick? Well, believe it or not, Polyester was the main inspiration behind that movie utilizing it. Anyway, special cards were created and given to moviegoers so they can smell the same things that Francine does. The film even opens with a scientist explaining how to use the cards. I did not have an Odorama card handy, so I was not able to replicate the experience, although I'm okay with that. I don't think I'll ever be in the mood to smell skunks. Thankfully, the movie is able to stand up on its own without the flashing numbers and the extra smells. It's a unique portrait of suburbia, with John Waters bringing his own comedic edge to the melodrama. Now let me know in the comments whether you prefer Heavy Metal or Polyester, and thank you for your question, Lance.